Pretty nice background. Quite the view. This video is 5 years in the making. It's 5 years ago. I had a dream, I had a goal, wanted to see some sights like this, but also 5 years ago, my life was over. I got herpes 5 years ago. The dream was killed. Never going to achieve it. Never going to be able to see this view. But in reality, herpes had nothing to do with my 5-year goal being delayed. And in some weird way, herpes is the reason why I was actually able to achieve this goal. Let me explain. So 5 years ago, February 2020, before COVID even happened, we're living our life. We're going to the gym, no lockdowns, no magical flu that was invented to put us all in our houses and test our compliance. Well, who knows? Who knows if that's true? And I was working at a supplement store, you know, manager and the janitor and the key holder, basically doing everything. Whilst trying to build like a fitness Instagram, you know, a fitness brand, do a little bit of online coaching, but it wasn't going so well. Trying to be one of these up and coming fitness influencers. Didn't go so well. Didn't really make any money. Didn't really get a lot of traction. Just posted a bunch of like helpful stuff. And people don't want help. They want like flashy steroids and that's besides the point. But February 2020, you know, I basically was making YouTube videos in the supplement store, thinking about, I kind of want to do some traveling this year. I want to go to Bali. I want to go somewhere and like shift from fitness into like lifestyle and go all in on YouTube and make some adventure content. And I was, I think, 27 at the time. Yeah, 5 years ago. So I started looking online. Everyone's going to Bali. All the influencers. Oh, they're going to get their villa and they're going to look at the rice paddies and they're going to go to some cafe and they're just going to live the digital nomad lifestyle. And I wanted to do that. But how was I going to do that? I had little to no money, a little bit of money, enough to like go and travel but still stress about it. Maybe I was going to go for a month. Maybe I was going to go for more. I had no way of like sustaining myself in terms of like making money online. But I wanted to go, so I put like a solid 80 hours into like researching Bali. I think it was probably like at least 2 weeks of just like every day looking at Bali stuff. Accommodations, motorbike rentals. The bike that I rented this past month is still from the Instagram page that I followed 5 years ago. So you're probably asking yourself, like, what are you even, like, what's the point of this video? The point of the video is this. March 2020, someone ate some bat soup, stay inside your house, COVID lockdown. I didn't go anywhere. Flash forward 3 or 4 months, September 2020, I end up getting herpes. Lonely lockdown. So I get herpes, you know? Boom, life's over. Sad, depressed, confused, overwhelmed, shame, anger. Couple that with pretty intense lockdowns and still going all in on the fitness stuff, but not really seeing much progress. I was just keeping it secret, keeping the herp secret. Nobody knew in terms of social media, trying to build my fitness brand still. In the lockdowns, gyms were closed, gyms reopened. December 2020, met a woman that was interested in me. Had to disclose my status. She invited me over. And if you haven't watched the previous video on how I disclosed for the first time, or if it's not out yet, go watch that one. That was a success, long story short. From there, I knew that herpes can't hold me back. Now this was still middle of lockdown, but my friend, my mentor, he said, you should post your fitness stuff on TikTok. So I posted my fitness stuff on TikTok. Didn't do much, didn't get a lot of traction, Pretty saturated market. Then I got COVID. Dying in bed for 14 days. The gyms were still closed. Now, being me, I toyed with the idea of posting some herpes content. So I went online, and a couple of my herpes TikToks that I first posted did quite well. And for me, I said, well, let me go all in on the herpes content. Let me use my content creation strategies that I've built from doing fitness all these years and just go all in on herpes and every single day post content. Now, this is a long-winded video, and if you're still watching, I appreciate you, because this is quite the long story to explain why we're in Bali. And the reason is that I always had the dream of making money online, having time freedom, location freedom, hopefully financial freedom, just not hating my life every single day, being able to like have a nice view, drink a matcha latte, help some people online, and hopefully make more than $1. Because I always had the idea that like you shouldn't base your life around a job, or I guess like what you want to do. You should base it around how you want to live each day. Because I never liked the idea of like working a whole bunch and then ending up trying to enjoy your life when your back hurts and you're old and hopefully you have enough money. So for me, it was always like, how can I have a lifestyle that allows me to enjoy every single day of my life? And I'm not the most happy person. I'm like pretty cynical and pretty depressed, and I've like even recently had all these crazy thoughts, nothing about herpes, but just about life in general, and I guess not living up to what I think my potential is. Excuse me. So I think for me, right now, I have no complaints. Like, this is the dream life. And to sort of bring the entire story together, 2022, went to different parts of Asia, Vietnam. 2023 and 2024, like, did some traveling, went to all these different places, Thailand, with my ex-partners, and you know, Cambodia and all of these things, and Bali, Indonesia. I never checked that box. You know, that was always like the digital nomad hub. And for some reason, it like evaded me all these years, whether it was from financial constraints or relationships or my own self-doubt or not feeling comfortable with like just doing it, just like taking action. It always evaded me. But this year, 2025, we made it happen. We took the leap. And to bring this full circle, this first month in Bali has been like one of the best financially in a while. I have basically invested last month while I was still in Canada into a program that's going to help me completely, entirely reshape my business. I signed 2 new coaching clients for the herpes coaching this month, paid in full. If you are looking for some extra help with your diagnosis, I'll leave a link in the description on how I can maybe help you. But the real point of this video, not what I'm doing, not how I'm living, not anything like that, is I started thinking about a meta goal and how it kind of approaches a diagnosis. So if I look back and I think about how I was able to get here because of the setbacks, because of getting herpes, because of all these things, I break it down and I think about what was my actual goal the whole time. Now, people often ask me, like, how did you get into advocacy and what made you want to post online? And if we're being brutally honest, which I like to do on this channel, my goal was never to really just be a fucking, a positive influence on people with their diagnosis, and I wanted to be an advocate. I never wanted to be an advocate. The cold hard truth is that I selfishly wanted a life that I wouldn't hate. And I knew all along that you can make money online helping people or doing whatever. And the craziest part is that still to this day, there isn't really anybody else doing what I'm doing. You know, there's all sorts of like people in Bali and other parts of, you know, Southeast Asia and the world doing all this like online business stuff, you know, e-commerce and drop shipping and like high ticket sales and sometimes I think people stress out like what business model do I go into and how can I make money? And for me it's like I have genital herpes and I'm living my best life and I know how to help others do the same, and I have client testimonials on my website and all over my Instagram page of people that I've taken from sad, depressed, confused, overwhelmed, shame, anger, resentment, frustration, my life is over, I can't date, no one's gonna love me, I'm gonna be judged forever, to like living their best life free of shame, in stable relationships, never looking back at their diagnosis again. And that's what I do. It's extremely simple. It's like, I make a YouTube video, provide some value for those in need, give you guys something to take with you, and if you want some extra help, you can work with me one-on-one to get you back to the life that you want. And in turn, I can live the life that I've always dreamed of. And I'm living right now. Like, I'm not even gonna try to I guess, downplay whether I am living my dream life or whatever, but I am, you know? I don't really have any complaints about my lifestyle right now. And what I think is the most important lesson you can take from this video is that whatever your goal is, good or bad, whatever you focus on is going to come true. So the actionable part of this video is going to follow right now. If your goal, post-diagnosis, is to avoid rejection, to never be judged, to, I guess, if your goal is to not date, per se, or you'll date when you're ready, even if you don't want that, so you don't want to stay single, you don't want to be like alone, you don't want to not date, your brain doesn't care. Your brain is going to pick the easiest possible option, the same way that my brain picked the easiest possible option, or it just kept going when my goal from the beginning of this video was make money online so I can have freedom. So my goal wasn't to, I guess, teach fitness. My goal wasn't to, I guess, not go to Bali. My goal was always, for 5 years, try to find a way to make money online, whether that is fitness or completely shifted into the herpes content, which is now the reason I'm able to be here. And there's like an alternate universe where I don't get herpes. You don't watch this video. Nobody hears about me. You know, maybe I'm still judgmental. Maybe I reject someone who has herpes. There's that universe. There's also a universe where this happens. Or maybe I'm doing better financially, or maybe I keep my diagnosis a secret, or like a universe where I'm ashamed. But I've already touched on this before. I cannot imagine a world where I'm not at least okay with my diagnosis at some point. So getting back to your goal, the takeaway from this is I want you to ask yourself, what goal are you striving for right now? Because if your goal is, I want to avoid rejection, then the easiest path is for you to never date. The easiest path is for you to never take care of yourself. And I urge you, as I made a slightly longer video before, I think it was on Instagram, some kind of Instagram story maybe, where I said, I want you to shift your goal into dating again. Shift your goal into overcoming your diagnosis. Even shift your goal into going on one date, regardless of the outcome. Because if you shift your goals and you shift how you view yourself from avoiding rejection, avoiding failure, not dating, avoiding judgment and all that scary stuff that may or may not happen, into going on a date, meeting some people, overcoming your diagnosis, then your brain is going to decide, okay, let's get a haircut, let's go to the gym, let's see our friends, let's go outside, let's socialize, let's not doom scroll Reddit every day. And you'll find, like I said before, that your brain doesn't care what your goal is, good or bad. But whatever you put your attention and focus into will come true. Now for me, did I think it was going to take 5 years? Hopefully not, but I got it. That's the key. A lot of people give up long before they have success, long before they achieve anything. I always think about myself as like that gold or diamond miner. I'll put the meme on the screen here. I always think about that. And, there's been months in the last 6 months where I made like, I don't know, 1,000 USD. That's it. And, this month I'm somewhat close to 10K. Never hit 10K yet. That's coming soon. But if I had just given up, I'm just like too stubborn. Too stubborn because the alternative is much worse. And that's also a lesson that you can take from, is think about the alternative. Now, I know it's tough when it comes to a diagnosis because we don't necessarily need to find love. And this kind of ties into the caveman video, which I've made, which you haven't already watched. I'll put that right there. Or right there, I don't know where the thing is, but the card is right there. How you can survive without a partner, male or female. But you really don't want that. And unfortunately, it takes some thinking about the life that you don't want to motivate you to pursue the life that you do want. But anything is possible. Okay, if I can get here, if I can be drinking a matcha, helping people with herpes, you can go on one date, you can disclose your status, you can start by just being nicer to yourself every single day of the week. Because it's not about, I don't even know what it's about, honestly. It's just about goals. It's about what you set your mind to. It's about being persistently stubborn in the pursuit of what you actually want, not in the pursuit of what you don't want. Reevaluate what your focus is on. If you want some help getting to that point, perfecting disclosure, ridding shame, attracting love, links in the description. See you guys next time.